Peeriefool and the Three Princesses. Once upon a time, there was a great king who lived in a magnificent palace with his three beautiful daughters. The princesses were not only lovely, but also wise and kind-hearted. The king loved them dearly and wanted to protect them from all harm. However, fate had a different plan for them. One day, a fearsome giant, known as Peeriefool, arrived at the king's court. He was tall, terrifying, and possessed powerful magic. He said to the king, "I want your three daughters. If you refuse, I will destroy your kingdom." The king was horrified, but refused to give up his daughters. Enraged, Peeriefool left the palace, but secretly plotted his revenge. That very night, while the entire palace was fast asleep, Peeriefool used his dark magic to cast a deep shadow over the kingdom and kidnapped all three princesses, taking them to his enchanted fortress. The next morning, when the king realized his daughters were gone, he was devastated. He sent his bravest warriors to search for them, but none could find Peeriefool's hidden fortress. In desperation, the king announced, "Whoever rescues my daughters shall receive half of my kingdom and the hand of one of my daughters in marriage." Many brave young men set out on the quest, but all failed. Then a poor but courageous young man named Adil stepped forward. Though he was a simple farmer's son, he was fearless and intelligent. With nothing but his sword and determination, Adil set out to find Peeriefool's fortress. Along the way, he met an old woman sitting by a river. She was actually a kind-hearted fairy who knew the secret of Peeriefool's magic. She warned Adil, "Peeriefool cannot be defeated by ordinary means. His life force is hidden inside a golden egg, which is kept in a dark lake beyond the mountains, guarded by a fierce dragon. If you can destroy the egg, Peeriefool will die." Adil thanked the fairy and continued his journey. After facing many obstacles, he finally reached the lake, where he saw the terrifying dragon protecting the golden egg. A fierce battle followed, and with great skill and bravery, Adil managed to slay the dragon. He then picked up the golden egg and set off for Peeriefool's fortress. As he neared the fortress, Peeriefool sensed danger and rushed out to stop him. However, before the giant could use his magic, Adil threw the golden egg to the ground with all his might. The egg shattered, and Peeriefool let out a terrible scream. His body trembled, his magic faded, and within moments, he collapsed and died. With Peeriefool's death, his enchantments broke, and everyone he had captured, including the three princesses, was set free. Adil led the princesses back to the king's palace, where the king was overjoyed. As promised, he rewarded Adil with half of his kingdom and the hand of his youngest daughter, whom Adil had grown to love. Thus, the tyranny of Peeriefool ended, and Adil ruled wisely and justly. He and the princess lived happily ever after,